From the East Greenwich Little League Complex, Comcast Cablevision Channel 43 is proud to present high school softball. Today it's a battle at the top of the Tri-County Royal Division as the Woodstown Wolverines take on the Kingsway Dragons. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ed Benkin along with Shawn Leary here at East Greenwich Little League Complex, which is sometimes a home site for the Kingsway Dragons, and a tough task for Kingsway today as they take on the division-leading Woodstown Wolverines. Shawn, I think a lot of people thought Woodstown would certainly be a team to contend with in the Tri-Co Royal this year, but to be 9-0 in the division, 12-2 overall, I think they've even exceeded their own expectations.
Yeah, last year they came into the end of the division with an 8-16 record. They were struggling a little bit. The improved pitching of TARYN Clark has really been the story for them. They find themselves 12-2 on top of the Tri-County Conference Royal Division. They're playing really good ball right now, playing good defense, and they're hitting the ball, and that's why they're at the top.
And a tough task for them today is for the first time this year they'll take on the Kingsway Dragons, the first of two meetings between these teams. The first one was rained out earlier in the year. And Shawn, certainly when we talk about excellence in South Jersey softball, Kingsway, the two-time defending state champs, certainly measure up to that. And at 10-5, despite some early season losses, they seem to be getting into gear now that it's May.
Yeah, this happens to the Dragons every year. They start out hot. This year they started out 4-0. They hit a little lull. They lost a couple of games, lost 3 straight games to some good teams, Bishop Eustace, Pennsville. They had some tough opponents. This team has a very tough schedule, and it's going to show here tonight that they're a very good team despite that record, and they're also going to be contending for that Royal Division.
2 games in that division, 2 losses in that division rather for Kingsway, so as Shawn said, this is a game they cannot afford to lose. You look at this crazy division, we talk about how competitive it is. This Woodstown team had swept the leaders of the division throughout much of the year, Gloucester Catholic, but you look at this division top to bottom, even with perennial power Clearview rebuilding, every game in the division is a critical one.
Yeah, every single game. You're right. Any team can sneak up on anybody. I mean, you look at a team like Williamstown who could come up and bite you. Woodstown was able to beat them yesterday. So this is going to be a tough test for Woodstown. This is Kingsway. This is a team that's usually contends. They're 2-time state champs. They're good in the big games. This is going to be a tough contest for them. Kingsway needs this win. If they don't win this game, they have no chance for the Tri-County Royal.
This one could go a long way in determining the division title. The Kingsway Dragons playing host to the Woodstown Wolverines coming up next on Comcast Cablevision Channel 43. Ed Benkin and Shawn Leary back here at the East Greenwich Little League Complex, the home site for 6 of Kingsway's home games. Kingsway and Woodstown getting set to do battle in high school softball, and the Woodstown Wolverines will be the visitors. Let's check their batting order, and leading off will be KRISTEN Merkle, who's bound for Colgate after the year. ALLISON ARRIGO will bat second. Bethany Mills, the first baseman, hits third. Catcher Amanda Clark will bat cleanup. Samantha Sanders hits in the number 5 spot. Pitcher TARYN Clark will bat 6th. Stephanie PONOZZO, the shortstop, hits 7th. DEVON PARUSZEWSKI will bat 8th. And Rebecca CALLEN will bat 9th. And the Kingsway Dragons will be set defensively. And let's check the defense for Kingsway. The outfield is Katie Heritage in left, MARCIE PENTZ in center, Katie YURIG in right. Third base, LINDSAY Hill. Second base, Taylor Jacobs. Shortstop, Second base, Becky Heritage. First base, Lori Padgett. Laura Doria doing the catching for that young lady, Wendy Miller, who Shawn clearly is one of the best in South Jersey.
She sure is.
Right away, we get a hard hit ball to LINDSAY Hill, but she'll make the play to first, and that is out number 1 in the inning. Merkle hit a bullet, but a nice play by Hill to gobble it up and get out number 1.
Yeah, nice play by Hill just to stop the ball, get her body in front of it, make the quick throw to first, and 1 out now for Woodstown. Wendy Miller, as you were saying, she's one of the best in Tri-County Royals. She comes up and steps up in big games. This is one of them.
Nubbed right in front of the plate, but it'll roll foul. As we mentioned, Woodstown in first place. They are unbeaten in the division at 9-0. Kingsway is 6-2 in the division, and as we mentioned, these two teams still have to play each other twice, so the chance for the Dragons remains, but they have to win tonight. Swung on a miss. Strike 2 to ARRIGO, who comes in with an average of 400 on the season. Has 2 extra base hits, both of them double, 7 runs batted in. That just misses on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to count to ARRIGO.
One thing about Miller, she likes to work quick, and she'll hit them outside corner for a strike.
This is low that time. It is 2-2. Wendy Miller, the pitcher for a Kingsway squad, which for the last 2 years has captured the state championship in Group 2. Swung on a miss, struck her out, and that is strikeout number 1 for Miller, out number 2 here in the top of the first.
Looked like Miller took a little bit off of that pitch. She knows how to work the corner. She also knows how to, she's a smart pitcher. She's going to get ahead of you, try to make you to swing at something that you really don't want to swing at, and that was the case there for ARRIGO.
Batter now be Bethany Mills at an impressive 528 mark on the season. She hits that one to shortstop. Taylor Jacobs with a quick throw to first. Nice scoop at first by Paget to resire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning for Miller in the top of the first. No runs, hits, or errors, and none left. To the bottom of the first, Woodstown nothing. Kingsway coming to bat in a very efficient inning by Miller.
Yeah, Miller's had some tough breaks early on in the season. Went up against a really tough schedule. Bishop Eustis, a very good team. Gloucester Catholic and Pennsville, the other two losses, hit them straight on. 1, 2, 3, couple of losses, but she knows how to pitch in big games, and that's going to be prevalent here. Is she's really going to need to get off to a good start against this Woodstown. Woodstown really, they haven't been able to pick up a big win against, except for Gloucester Catholic.
Let's check the batting order for Kingsway as we get set to start. Katie Jurgen will lead it off. Laura Doria, the catcher, bats second. Marcie PENTZ, the right fielder, hits third. Lori Paget, the cleanup hitter today. SHONDALYN Pennet, the DH, hits fifth. Pitcher Wendy Miller, who is excellent with the bat as well as her pitching, bats sixth. Lindsay Hill in the number 7 spot. Taylor Jacobs at short, batting eighth. And Becky Heritage will bat in the number 9 spot. Defensively for Woodstown, in the outfield, Rebecca CALLEN in left, KRISTEN MERKLE in center, Christine Monaforto in right, Samantha Sanders at third, Stephanie PONOZZO at short, DEVON PARUSZEWSKI at second base, Bethany Mills at first, and Amanda Clark catching for TARYN Clark. And what a year she is having, 7-0 with an ERA of 0.95.
When I say Woodstown hasn't had, big wins yet, they had nothing to lose coming into this year. They're 8-16. They just wanted to come out. They have 4 seniors that start on this team, so they just want to come out, have a good time. They find themselves undefeated in the Royal. Now everyone's going to be gunning for them.
First pitch to Katie Jurgen is over for a called strike. The sophomore is hitting .308 on the season, 8 runs batted in, 3 doubles, and 16 steals as she looks at one outside. So she is a threat if she gets on. Rips that one up the middle, and that'll go in for a base hit. So Jurgen is the leadoff base runner here in the bottom of the first inning.
And Clark got that up a little bit high. Jurgen was able to just get her bat on it and poke it into center field. She's, as you said, she is a threat to run, but I don't think she's going to go anywhere with Amanda Clark behind the plate. Amanda Clark, one of the best catchers in the state.
It's a great matchup from a base running perspective. Doria bunts it, but it hits her leg, and it's a dead ball. Doria stepping in, also a sophomore, batting at .300. She has 12 steals on the season, 7 runs batted in. And she stands in against Clark. How about this stat on the year for Clark? 29 strikeouts, just 5 walks.
Yeah, she's really improved her game.
Squares to bunt again and misses it for a second strike. Fake throw back to first. A game within the game tonight as Amanda Clark, the catcher, will try and gun down the speedy Kingsway top of the order.
One thing you won't see is straight steals.
That one bounces away, and that'll be a wild pitch. So moving up to second base is Jurgen. Well, that's one way you get ahead on Clark, is you get a wild pitch past her, and now Jurgen in scoring position. Nobody out, 1-2 to Doria. Nub foul. Once again, that catches a piece of Doria as it goes foul. She just wants to, even with 2 strikes, get the runner over with Marcie PENTZ waiting on deck.
Doria's been the surprise on this Kingsway club for Andy McFadden. He's really seen this sophomore grow into a very good hitter. Moved up to the number 2 spot because of her success.
Nice grab by Clark. She'll make the throw to first, but scampering up to third is Jurgen. So Doria is able to move Jurgen over to third base with 1 out.
Little mistake there by Clark, the pitcher. She was able to snag that one, but did not look to run her back at second base. Jurgen, smart base running, went halfway and went to third base to get in scoring position.
PENTZ looks at one low for a ball. She's batting at .404 on the season, 13 RBIs. That is second on the team. Swung on and missed. And there is Clark. Shawn, you mentioned the mistake she made on the single. She's keeping the ball down ever since.
Yeah, that's one thing she has to do against this Kingsway team. They're very good hitting ball club. They'll take it to the opposite field.
Squared the bunt and missed it for a strike. And from the look of Coach McFadden, somebody seemed to have missed a sign there.
Yeah, it looked like they were thinking about a possible squeeze. Woodstown looking for it there.
Swung on and misses. That pitch drops out. Struck her out for her first strikeout of the inning, and out number 2 here in the first.
And she's smiling about that one. That's something she's really worked on, is that drop curve.
Here's Lori Padgett, the junior. She's hitting at .489 on the season. Misses that pitch. She leads the team in RBIs with 19, leads the team in doubles with 8, leads the team in home runs with 2, and also has 2 triples. Over for a strike, and Padgett, the junior, kind of underrated a bit last year when you looked at the likes of Marcia Kelly and Miller getting a lot of well-deserved attention.
She sure does, and I'll tell you, she's an all-state contender.
Finds the hole, and it's in for a base hit. Yurigan trots in to score. Padgett at first base with an RBI single, and Kingsway has a 1-0 lead.
Nice job by Padgett there to get a ball in the bat, find that hole between short and third, give the Dragons an early 1-0 lead.
So the 1 run across for Kingsway, big one here in the bottom of the first, and SHONDALYN PETTIT will now come to the plate. Smothers 1 foul. Pettit, the DH, batting at .310 on the season. 3 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run, an all-South Jersey member last season. A lot of all-South Jersey players on this Kingsway squad.
Yeah, Pettit hits for power. She's also the second pitcher for Kingsway. 3-0, so she's having a good year also.
Up high for a ball. In fact, Pettit did pitch yesterday in Woodstown's win over Williamstown. Got the victory in that. It's great for Andy McFadden to have that luxury to have another pitcher who can give Miller a break in back-to-back days. Ripped down the third base side. That's a fair ball. Padgett will hold at second base. That one caught the glove of Sanders. First and second for Kingsway with 2 out.
Yeah, it was a tough play by Sanders. She was trying to backhand that play. Pettit was able to get that ball down the line. Now with runners at first and second, Kingsway looking to add to their lead.
So scored a hit for Pettit, 3rd hit of the inning for the Dragons. And pitcher Wendy Miller will come to the plate. And Miller, as we mentioned, outstanding with the bat, .338. Chops one over to short. PONOZZO can't get it. It gets past her into left field. CALLEN will hold the runner at third as scampering back is Padgett. Bases loaded for the Dragons with 2 out.
And that was a tough play. There was really nothing PONOZZO could do. It seemed like it hit the cutout there and was just scooted past her glove. I don't think that was her fault. That looked like it hit the cutout and jumped up over.
In the books, though, is a hard luck error.
I scored a single because I don't think there's nothing you can do on that play. Once the ball hits a cutout and jumps over your glove, there's really nothing you can do. The only thing you can fault her with is not staying in front of the ball, maybe getting her body on it.
I agree. So the 4th hit of the inning for Kingsway. Bases loaded, 2 out, and here comes Lindsay Hill. .368 on the year, 12 RBIs, 2 doubles. These Kingsway averages are downright gaudy up and down the lineup. This is that one for a strike, and that's a nice pitch by Clark, keeping it low.
Yeah, that's something she's going to have to do as the game wears on. Keep the ball low. She does have a good defense behind her.
Outside for a ball, quickly a throw down to first base, but standing back in is Padgett. Bases loaded with Dragons. 2 out, we're in the bottom of the first. Kingsway with a 1-0 lead on Woodstown. Ground ball towards third, knocked down by Sanders. She'll make the throw to first, and that will retire the side. So Kingsway leaves the bases loaded. However, they played a run on 4 hits, no Woodstown errors, and 3 left on. After 1 inning, it's Kingsway 1, Woodstown 0. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision Channel 43. Ed Benkin back here with Shawn Leary as we start the top of the 2nd inning. And quickly 1 strike to the batter, Amanda Clark, the catcher standing in, batting at .452. Rips one up the middle. That'll be a base hit as PENTZ is able to field that and cut it off. First hit of the game for Woodstown, and they have their leadoff runner on here in the 2nd.
That was a shot by Clark. Miller lucky to get out of the way of that. Clark is very powerful. She collected her 100th hit a couple of games ago. Expectedly a home run. This girl has a lot of power. Very good catcher. Very good at the plate. There you're able to see she gets on the first.
Samantha Sanders able to get the punt down. That'll move the runner up as they get the out at first base. Hill over to Heritage covering. 1 out in the inning, but Clark takes second. So Amanda Clark at second base, and the pitcher TARYN Clark with no relation will stand back in. Give Sanders a sacrifice on that. So Clark standing in, batting at .217 on the year.
Number 23, TARYN Clark.
Over for a strike. We mentioned these two teams in the thick of that Trico Royal race. Pennsville right now in second. They are 8-1 in division play. And as we mentioned, Kingsway 6-2, Gloucester Catholic 6-3. All chasing these Wolverines unbeaten at 9-0. That one missing low for a ball. 2-1 the count to TARYN Clark. 1-0 Kingsway leading. We're in the top of the second.
Clark, a very patient hitter at the plate. She's going to wait for a pitch and try to drive it somewhere.
Up high for a ball. We mentioned this field here at East Greenwich, a beautiful complex. Kingsway will play usually about 5 or 6 games a year on this field, in addition to their day games at their high school. Ground ball up the middle, almost hits the runner and goes in for a hit, so forcing to hold at second is Amanda Clark. TARYN Clark has a base hit, and really Amanda Clark is just worried about getting out of the way, or she would have been out.
Yeah, she was worried about getting out of the way, but she's going to admit it. That was probably some poor base running. She could have been at third easily. That ball hitting the hole, you have to know where the defenders are, and you have to be heady out there on the base pads.
Should have zigged where she should have zagged and headed to her right, but still first and second now for Woodstown, and the first strike is Stephanie PONOZZO. She's batting at .216 on the year. Talked to Gil Remster before the game about this unbeaten record in the division, as that one misses low for a ball. I think even she, although she knew she'd have a good team, would not expect this team to be unbeaten in May going into division.
No, I don't think she did, the way they played last year.
Slow grounder over to second. Heritage has one play to first. That's out number 2. Taking third is Amanda Clark, and taking second is TARYN Clark with 2 out.
This is our first softball game of the year thus far. You can see the game moves a lot quicker if you're watching at home.
Don't head for the fridge, that's for sure.
One of the things that they do is in softball, they don't like to get down early, so they're going to try to take their best swing. Of course, they're going to see a strike from pitchers like Clark and Miller, so they're going to try to take their first cuts.
Devin PARUSZEWSKI looks at the first pitch for a strike, hitting at .317 on the year. 2 RBIs and 1 double. Bounces away, and this will bring the runner home. Amanda Clark slides in safely. TARYN Clark takes third, and Woodstown is tied at 1.
Ball got away from Doria. Heads up base running by Clark, making up for their mistake earlier on the base pads, able to scamper home.
And moving up to third, too, is Clark. The other Clark, TARYN Clark, with a potential go-ahead run. As the pitch is over for a called strike, 0-2 now the count to PARUSZEWSKI.
PARUSZEWSKI would love to get this run home. She started slow, but she's been coming on at the plate.
Bounces up there for a ball. It's 2-2 to PARUSZEWSKI, with Rebecca CALLEN waiting on deck in a 1-1 game. Low, and it gets away, and heading for the plate is Clark, but here's the throw, and it is in time for the out. As Kingsway gets a fortunate bounce, that one hit the pole dead center, bounced right back to Doria, and the side is retired here in the second inning. However, Woodstown plates a run. They do so on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Bottom of the second we go. Deadlocked at 1 between Woodstown and Kingsway.
Looked like Clark kind of got a late jump on that, a little hesitant, and she probably should have just stayed home there. You got to react. As soon as you see that ball get out there, you got to make a quick decision. Obviously, on that one, it was the wrong decision.
We were talking to, as we mentioned, Gil Remster before the game, and one thing she was saying is that these kids have been together now for a couple of years, and I think when you're a team like Woodstown, you take your lumps against Kingsways and the likes of Clearview as well all these years, and now suddenly you're seniors, you have the confidence, and certainly they've shown this year that they're ready to compete at the top.
Yeah, and that's right. They have 4 seniors. All 4 of them have played together now for 3 to 4 years. Samantha Sanders, Amanda Clark, KRISTEN, MERKLE, and we only got 3 seniors there, but I know there's a 4th senior somewhere. We'll have to find that out. But these kids have played together for so many years. They know each other's tendencies. You know, they've worked hard. They've stuck with it. They haven't quit. And that's a testament to what they're able to do here this year. And it's good. They have some young players coming up that have really helped out. Plus, you have a 12-2 mark. You're sitting on top of the division. It's just feeding off emotion, trying to keep that train rolling. You know, once you learn how to win, it seems to keep rolling over, and you keep winning those close games.
As we mentioned, Woodstown's sweep over Gloucester Catholic seriously damages the Rams' chances. On the other hand, these 2 teams will play again on May 21st. They had 1 game earlier in the year rained out, so this is the first of 2 and possibly 3, because we know both of these teams are going to the Group 2 playoffs. So Kingsway batting, and Taylor Jacobs will stand in and hit a rocket to third, but Sanders gloves nicely, throws to first, one out in the bottom of the second.
There you see, trying to get off that first pitch. You know Clark's going to try to groove it down the plate to get ahead of the hitters. You see the players trying to get their bats on the ball and keep moving the game around. Sanders, a nice play at third base. She's the goalie for Woodstown. Very good reaction at third base. That's something you really need to have, and she's very good defensively.
Becky Heritage looks at one for a ball. She's hitting at 298 on the year, 2 doubles, 11 steals. Jacobs, who just grounded out, 14 steals. Bottom of the order's got some speed for Kingsway. Up the middle, off the glove of Clark, and it trickles into center field for a base hit. So the 5th hit of the day for Kingsway by Heritage in the 9 spot. She's on first with 1 out.
Clark shaking her head there, thinking she should have had that one. Seen a couple balls go back through the middle. Both of these pitchers can defend their position as well as good as they can pitch. Both of them, one of the top pitchers in Tri-County, if not South Jersey.
Now batting, number 8.
So Katie Jurgen will stand back in. She has singled and scored for Kingsway, and she looks at one for a strike. So Jurgen with the runner on first base. We'll see if Heritage tries to take off here with 1 out. Pitch is low for a ball again. As you mentioned, the danger is Amanda Clark's got the cannon behind the plate.
Yeah, and I really don't expect Kingsway to try and run her. What they might try to do is the bunt and run, the hit and run, try to make things happen on the base pads.
There it is, but the bunt goes off the foot of Jurgen. It's a dead ball. So 2 strikes now, the count to Katie Jurgen. 1-1 game, bottom of the second. Wind is blowing in quite stiffly here at East Greenwich Little League Complex. That one poked down the side, and a nice grab by Mills. Can't get the double play, but an excellent grab by Bethany Mills for out number 2.
That's one of the things that you're going to see in this game. Bethany Mills, an outstanding first baseman for Woodstown. Also, Lori Paget.
Lori Doria takes the pitch high for a ball. She's 0 for 1, grounded back to Clark her first time up. And these are the kind of plays Woodstown maybe didn't make the last couple years, but when you get used to it and start contending, you start making them in a year like this as the throw goes down to first. 0-2 now to count.
Saying Bethany Mills and Lori Paget, 2 of the better first basemen in the Tri-County Conference. These teams are very good defensively. They're not going to make very many mistakes in the outfield, so you're going to have to get your hits to win this type of game.
Up high for a ball, so 1-2 now to count to Doria. As we mentioned, a 300 hitter coming in with 12 steals and 7 runs batted in.
And she's been the big surprise for this Kingsway team.
Grounded over to shortstop, glove by Ponozzo, over to first. The side is retired here in the bottom of the second. No runs for Kingsway, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. 2 in the books here in East Greenwich. The score, Woodstown 1, Kingsway 1. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision, Channel 43. We're back here in East Greenwich. There's your story. 1-1 Woodstown Kingsway as Devon PARUSZEWSKI steps in and misses the first pitch for a strike. Misses the second one as well, and you see Miller when she's on. Her location is outstanding.
That's one thing she's been able to do throughout her career is hit her spots.
That's low for a ball. PARUSZEWSKI, number 8 hitter, will be followed by Rebecca CALLEN and KRISTEN MERKLE. Missing inside. Actually, PARUSZEWSKI was up from the plate last inning, and with the runner thrown out at home plate, so she's already had a first look at Miller without in that bat. Grounded slowly to third. Lindsay Hill can't get it. Taylor Jacobs will, but not in time at first base. Infield single for PARUSZEWSKI, and she's a leadoff runner for Woodstown here in the third.
There you see her wheels come into effect there. She can fly down that line. Able to beat out that hit. Try to get something started for Woodstown here in the top of the third. PARUSZEWSKI, her freshman year, she came in as a pitcher. With Clark coming in, she's adjusted and now playing in the outfield.
Pitches up high for a ball to Rebecca CALLEN, batting at .353. Not bad for your number 9 hitter.
Excuse me, CALLEN playing in the outfield, PARUSZEWSKI playing at second base.
That's over for a strike, and again, with Doria behind the plate, we most likely will see CALLEN, as you already have seen her indicate, just try to move PARUSZEWSKI over. We'll see a lot of that tonight for both sides. Bunted at and missed for a strike. It's 1-2. Top of the order, KRISTEN MERKLE waiting on deck. We have a 1-1 game here in the third. big battle in the Trico Royal. Ground ball up the middle. This will be a tough play. Heritage flips to second with Jacobs covering for the force. They're on a very close play.
And that was a nice job to get that lead runner. Nice job for PONOZZO to cover that.
And Heritage knew really she only had one play, and she made the right one. So was not going to be able to get the out at first. KRISTEN MERKLE standing in. She grounded out to third her first time up. Bounces away under the glove of Dorian. Moving up to second base is CALLEN. And she is in scoring position now with one out.
That's important for KRISTEN MERKLE. MERKLE picking up her 100th hit. A 2-run, 3-run, bases clearing double won the game for Woodstown against Williamstown.
Over for a strike. And that game yesterday is an example. You look at Williamstown's record, they're 6-7, 4-6 in the division. It's very deceiving. They're a tough team in the wrong division. Fly ball down the right field side. An excellent attempt made, but it drops in front of the right fielder, YURIG. Just getting back to what Gil Remster said, she said very simply, any time in this division, if you're not ready to play, you're going to get beat.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough teams. As you said, Clearview could have been a possible playoff team. You know, when you lose your pitcher, pitching is so important in softball. Katie Shirley going down really hurt that ball club, and they haven't been able to adjust to it. They really just don't have the pitching there.
Grounded foul back towards the screen, still 1-2 to MERKLE. MERKLE, the daughter of Glenn MERKLE, the athletic director at Woodstown High School.
She had a sister, Kim, who played, now playing at Ryder.
Chases a low pitch for a strikeout. They have to make the throw down to first, and it gets away from Padgett. Heading up to third is CALLEN. So on the strikeout, MERKLE takes first, and CALLEN takes third with one out. So that is the second strikeout for Miller. However, it leaves runners at the corners with one out.
They're going to, umpires are going to judge us. What they're saying is they called it a strike, and she wouldn't be able to take first base. But obviously that was a ball. He made the right call on that.
So Allison ARRIGO stands in. She struck out her first time up. Grounded slowly towards short. That'll get a run, and as Jacobs has one play to first. Coming in to score on the play is CALLEN. MERKLE takes second, and Woodstown takes a 2-1 lead.
Nice job by ARRIGO just to get her bat on the ball, plate the runner, and the runs in this game is going to be very important. If you can get a run with Clark and Miller on the mound, you're going to take the run over the out.
We'll see a lot of runs as you see Bethany Mills standing in and looking at one for a ball. We'll see a lot of runs scratched across today is the best way to describe it. Mills grounded out to short her first time up. Up slowly towards Miller. She'll throw to first base, and it's thrown away. Coming in to score on the play is MERKLE. Moving up to second now is Mills on the overthrow. And hurt coming into home plate is MERKLE. She tripped coming in, and she is hurt.
Tripped over home plate. Which I think looks like she's holding her wrist.
And that is really a tough sight to see, too. And you just lose your balance. You come down the wrong way. And you get hurt. But she does score to increase Woodstown's lead to 3-1 as she's being intended to. And one thing when you have a season like Woodstown is having, you have a pretty healthy year. We mentioned what happened at Clearview. This is one thing Woodstown, fortunately, has been able to stay away from this season is the injury bug.
Yeah, they've been fortunate enough to stay away from the injury bug. They don't want to lose MERKLE. MERKLE, the leadoff hitter, a captain on this team, very vocal leader. She gets the team up. This would be a tough injury. She's a senior, though. She'll fight it off. Miller's. You see her walking that off. I think she might have just injured her wrist, but she's slapping 5, so I think that right wrist is okay.
That's a great sign to see her get up. I think it might have been actually a little more embarrassing than anything else. I think you want to get shaken up. It's usually on a collision at the plate, but she does come in to score. It is 3-1, and Miller doing a nice job really for 2 reasons. Gathering her team together, just first thing, you could tell she was saying, all right, that was my mistake. We'll shake it off, and keeping them concentrated now with Amanda Clark standing up. That one just missing. Clark singled and scored a run her first time up. She came in batting .452.
This is basically an intentional walk. They don't want Clark facing Miller with runner in scoring position. They're going to put runners at first and second now.
And you really can't blame Andy McFadden, with all due respect to Samantha Sanders, who is also a fine hitter at 385, but you know what Clark can do, and they'll give her the walk to put runners at first and second with 2 outs in the inning. This has been a strange inning, but one Woodstown will be happy to take, as here comes Sanders, who sacrificed her first time up.
Very uncharacteristic inning for Kingsway. Miller making a tough throw into right field, one that she admittedly would have to make.
That's over for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Sanders. 2 runs across for Woodstown here in the third. They lead at 3-1. Nub down the right field line. It is a foul ball. Didn't miss by much. Would have probably brought home 2 if it had gone fair. So 0-2 now the count to Sanders. Runner at second base is Mills. Runner at first base is Clark. 2 outs in the inning.
2 runs already in. This is a big batter for Kingsway to stay in this game.
And that is, even though she chased a low pitch, a great job by Sanders just to get a piece of that and stay alive.
Sanders with a couple of extra base hits, so she can strike one into the gap. That would really break this game open.
Swing and a miss struck her out, so Miller gets out of further trouble in the third with her second strikeout of the inning. However, Woodstown plates 2 runs. They do so with just 1 hit. There was 1 Kingsway error and 2 left on. To the bottom of the third we go. It is Woodstown 3, Kingsway 1.
Nice job by Miller there. Looks like she put a little extra juice on that one. That was a batter she needed to get with 2 runs down. Kingsway, a good hitting ball club. You know, this game here last year, the East Greenwich Little League Complex, was 13-9. Both these teams, same pitchers. Both these teams can hit. And they've already proved that they can hit each other. Yeah, this game, you know, it's a home game for Kingsway, but this is really an advantage to them to play under the lights, something that teams aren't accustomed to playing under. You know, once this game, if we already have the lights on, but once it gets a little bit darker, it's something Woodstown's not accustomed to. It's something that Kingsway's have been able to use to their advantage.
Here you see Coach McFadden, and right to his left, who's going to head over to first base, is one Tony Barchuk, who of course we're used to seeing during football season, the head coach of the Dragons. And it's funny talking to him before the game. He said, you know, you just can't keep me away. He's always busy, coaches the freshmen here, and also is an assistant with the varsity.
Yeah, he's a real good guy. He's always trying to be around. And he says this Kingsway, they're a bunch of really good kids. And both these teams, a lot of good athletes on this field. You know, you look at KRISTEN MERKLE, who's going off to play field hockey, and she's a fine field hockey player. Amanda Clark as well. A lot of good athletes. Wendi Miller.
Well, good chance here. Good chance here for Kingsway. The heart of the order coming up, 3, 4, and 5, and leading off will be Marcie PENTZ, and she rips one foul down the left field side out of play into the corner.
Marcie PENTZ, one of them athletes for Kingsway. Lori Doria, Marcie PENTZ, and Lori Padgett all played basketball.
And Kingsway, of course, another solid year on the basketball court as well. Very tough in that division, of course, with Gloucester Catholic. But they certainly hung in there. Clearview, of course, with a great year as well. Nub foul in front of the plate. And PENTZ sees that foul off her body. It's 0-2. PENTZ a strikeout victim her first time up, but as we mentioned, having a great year. Only a junior, batting at .404 coming into tonight's game. Looks at one high, it's 1-2. You look down this Kingsway lineup, so many sophomores and juniors. Considering that you lose players like Marcia Kelly, and here you are in contention again, that says something about the program. Grounded over to shortstop. PONOZZO will field, low throw to first, and Mills can't dig it up. It'll be an error on PONOZZO, but Mills will probably tell you she should have had that one.
Yeah, she probably should have had that one, but it was a tough throw. Mills at first base stretching for that.
So PENTZ leads off with the error as she gets on via the error, and now Lori Padgett will step up. She singled her first time up. It's the first error of the game for Kingsway, rather for Woodstown, both teams with 1 error on the night. Padgett misses the first pitch. Good drop on that pitch by TARYN Clark.
Yeah, that was a good one. You know, that's something that she's really worked on. Very smart, choosing her pitches better on location.
Ground ball again over to short. PONOZZO bobbles that one. Won't get the out at first. Her second straight error of the inning. Runners at first and second. Nobody out for Kingsway.
Yeah, that one she bobbled. Smart play by Mills just to come off the bag. Make sure she gets the throw to not let that ball get away.
Well, you can tell by the look on her face she's ready for another one, and that's the attitude you have to have. And championship teams have players who make an error or two and they shake it off and come back and make the great play. SHONDALYN Pettit, who singled her first time up, will square to bunt. Bobbled by Clark. No play anywhere. She was thinking third, and by the time she got the ball, it was too late. The third error of the inning, and the bases loaded.
We're talking about how these teams play well defensively. Getting a little shaken here, you know, things that roll over. You know, you don't want to, once somebody makes that error, you don't want to, you're a little cautious. You don't want to make that second error. Things are going downhill right now for Woodstown. They just need it, get some outs here.
And here comes Miller. Wendy Miller, the pitcher, a chance to help herself. She singled her first time up, got a break a bit on a funny hop on a ball hit to PONOZZO. And now we'll have a pinch runner for Kingsway coming over at first base as Marie Falls will run at first. So Falls, the pinch runner at first, Paget at second, PENTZ at third. 3-1 Woodstown, but Kingsway threatening here in the bottom of the third. Now we have a bit of a delay as she gets ready and the umpires get set. Coming into this evening's action, Woodstown, at the start of the week, was ranked 13th in South Jersey, Kingsway 14th.
Tells you how good the Tri-County is because you got Catholic also in there. Of course, Pennsville only with one loss. These teams just seem to beat up on each other. It's just an outstanding division.
At Pennsville, a great story this year in South Jersey, and that's ripped over to short. This time, the play will be made by PONOZZO to third. She gets the out there. However, coming in to score is PENTZ. 3-2 Woodstown on top.
And a nice job by PONOZZO just to get the third, get the lead runner. Now with first and second, one out, you can see your way out of this inning, only allowing one run in the bottom of the order coming up.
Yeah, she wasn't going to get the run at home, so might as well get the next lead runner, especially the closest runner as well. So Miller has an RBI. She reaches on a fielder's choice, and Lindsay Hill looks at one for a strike. She grounded to third her first time up, and there's an out on the pickoff at third. Going to third base, trying to steal third is Pettit, and she is erased. Make that Falls, rather, who is erased, the pinch runner. And Andy McFadden not happy.
And Andy McFadden's probably disgusted with himself. He said coming in this game, he's not running on Clark, possibly hit and run.
And there you see why. So we get our first look at the cannon that Amanda Clark has as she gets the out at third. Meanwhile, Hill now standing in with the count 1-1. Over for a called strike at the knees, and we've seen that low pitch called consistently tonight. Nubbed foul down the third base side.
See, our camera's getting a good look at it. Both pitchers able to hit that outside corner. That's something Clark's really improved on. You know, she's matured so much as a pitcher, and one of the things is she's been able to do is hit the locations, hit the corners well, and work that to her advantage, become a more smart pitcher.
Floater, now back to the mound. Good pitch by Clark. She'll make the throw to first, and the side is retired in the third. However, in a strange inning, Kingsway gets a run without a hit. 3 Woodstown errors and 1 left on. 3 complete the score. Woodstown 3, Kingsway 2. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision, Channel 43. Benkin and Shawn Leary back here as we start the 4th inning at East Greenwich Little League Complex. That's the story. Woodstown 3, Kingsway 2, and Taylor Jacobs, the shortstop, who was set to lead off last inning back at short. So leading off now is TARYN Clark, and she looks at one for a strike. It's 1-1 to TARYN Clark, who singled her first time up. Looks like Miller tried to take something off that pitch, which she will do once in a while, sneak that pitch in, but that one was tied. Outside corner for a strike. It's 2-2.
Miller, of course, is captain of this team. Has experience in the big games, as we were saying earlier, with the 2 state championships.
Missing outside, so full count now to Clark.
You know, the interesting stat in those games is both state finals only allowing just 1 hit. She comes up in big games.
Gave it a fastball, and she pokes it into center field for a base hit. So Miller, 3-2, challenges her, and Clark responds with a base hit.
Nice job by Clark. at the plate, trying to work that count into her advantage, picking out a pitch that she can hit.
Now batting.
Serves that out.
Stephanie.
Starts the inning off with a single.
Stephanie Ponozzo grounded out her first time up, squares to bump, but it's grabbed foul by Laura Doria. And boy, talk about some tough cleats to fill. When you have to take the place of Marcia Kelly, there's a lot of pressure, but Doria's done her job this year for Kingsway.
Yeah, she's doing an outstanding job. And, she had her knee operated on last year. Was hurt in the middle of the season, come back this year, and she's really surprised this team.
Bunts that one foul, so 0-2 to Ponozzo.
You were saying some big shoes to fill. Marcia Kelly, I mean, you can't say enough about her. And she's going to be playing against the Olympic team this summer and chosen to come onto that team. She's playing up with St. Pete's.
Looks in one low. Marcia Kelly in the South Jersey Championship game against Audubon at Washington Township High School last year hit one dead center field over the fence for a home run. Over for a called third strike, struck her out, so Miller gets the strikeout. That is her fourth of the game. One out here in the fourth.
Hit to the base hit. Nice job by Miller to come back, get the strikeout.
And here comes Devon PARUSZEWSKI on the day. She is 1 for 1 with a single.
Now batting, number 18.
Pulls it back to swing and misses for a strike. There's a throw to second, but back in safely is the base runner, TARYN Clark. 3-2 Woodstown on top. If the Wolverines win this game, they will go to 10-0 in the Trico Royal. Almost unheard of by any team at this part of the season. And they'll have 4 games remaining to wrap up the title.
Talking about Kelly at St. Peter's. She's already holds the career home run. She's the career home run leader at St. Peter's in a freshman season.
Grounded foul. We were mentioning about that. That's why we were talking about the home run last year, the tremendous power she has. That was the first one to go over the fence, and it goes over to dead center field. And I was there, Sean. It cleared the fence with plenty of room. Bounces up there for a ball. There's a throw back down to first, but scampering back in is Clark.
One thing you're seeing here from the Woodstown lineup, they were really grooving Miller in the first, going after the first pitch, now being a little bit impatient at the plate.
Slow one hit to Miller, quick throw to first, in time for the out. Miller had to gun it. They get PARUSZEWSKI hustling to first. Clark takes second, there are 2 out.
Nice job by Miller to get to the ball and then make the throw, and PARUSZEWSKI, who, as we seen earlier, can flat out fly. She can move down that line.
Rebecca Callen, the left fielder, will stand in, number 9 hitter. Scored, even though she reached on a fielder's choice, so she's 0 for 1. That's on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 the count. Woodstown on top here, 3-2. Kingsway, though, chipping away with a run last inning. That's low for a ball. 1-1 now the count.
Callen batting out of the 9 spot. Fourth on the team in RBIs with 9. She comes up with big hits at the right time.
That's over for a called strike. 1-2 now the count as Miller seems to be settling in now on the mound.
Callen's become very consistent at the plate this year.
Struck her out to end the inning. Miller with 2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 on the day, and Woodstown done in the 4th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. Bottom of the 4th we go. Woodstown leading Kingsway 3-2. Well, both these teams coming off wins yesterday, both involved in slugfest. As we mentioned earlier, Woodstown coming away with a 7-5 win over tough Williamstown. The Braves actually had 16 hits in that loss to Woodstown. Meanwhile, Kingsway, in a rarity just because these two teams are usually at the top, getting a sweep of Clearview. Usually don't see either team get a sweep. They sweep the Pioneers as they win 7-4. They actually won the first meeting quite easily, 10-1. So Kingsway and Woodstown, with this big game upon them, had a couple of tough struggles yesterday.
Yeah, in Kingsway, they played, this is now their 4th game in 4 days. As we're watching this game tonight, this game was played on a Thursday. And they played Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, able to beat Clearview on Wednesday. And, we talk about these teams in the Trico Royal. I mean, just think if Katie Shirley had been healthy. I was talking to Andy McFadden before the game, and he said Clearview could have possibly been a playoff team if Shirley's healthy because she can shut you down on the mound.
Yeah, it looks strange looking at that division, seeing a 1-10 record for Clearview. You know things would have been different. You know they'll be back next year. But other than Clearview, because of the injuries in Deptford who have struggled, the rest of this division, even Delsey can be a stubborn team to play against in the Trico.
So far, Clark and Miller not pitching their best, but getting out of tough spots.
Well, a lot of the runs have been ugly today, but they count nonetheless, and both teams will take them. As we start the bottom of the fourth, it'll be Taylor Jacobs leading off. The shortstop grounded out to third base her first time up as you see Clark getting ready to go to work. Temperatures beginning to get a bit cooler here as the sun sets. First pitch is over for a called strike to Jacobs.
Temperatures are getting cooler and the bugs are now coming out.
So we have noticed. Lays off the high pitch for a ball. It's 1-1. And Kingsway knows that they simply have to win today to have any chance of winning their division title. Popped up in the infield. Should be a play at third, and Sanders makes it for out number 1.
Nice job by Sanders to call Clark off on that play, take charge.
So Sanders gets the pop out for out number 1, and Becky Heritage, the second baseman, stands in. She singled her first time up.
Number 1.
Very efficient hitter in that number 9 hole. 298 on the season coming in. Rips one up the middle. It'll be gloved nicely by PONOZZO. Throws to first. Out number 2, and there's the good fielders coming back after a tough inning, making a fine play.
Yeah, PONOZZO, she's got really good range. One thing she's been able to do this year is cut down on her errors. Last year had too many errors for a shortstop. You know, she's really cut down, worked on that in the offseason, and she's one of the better shortstops around now.
So here's the right fielder, Katie Yurigan. She grounded out and singled, has a run scored as well, and she pokes that one up the middle, and it's knocked down by PARUSZEWSKI, but it'll be an infield single. Ball took a slow roll on that cutoff. However, it's an infield single for Yurigan with 2 out. And I know the conventional wisdom is you don't run against Clark, but if there's ever a time Kingsway will try it, this might be it.
Yeah, and I really don't. I said it earlier, and obviously McFadden makes me look like a liar, but that's his job. Trying to fool everyone, and that did not work against Clark last time as she threw the runner out of third.
Strike 1 to Doria, who has grounded out twice. It's easy for us to say, oh, why don't you try and run against Amanda Clark? It's easy to call it from this angle, but very difficult for the base runners all season. Grounded towards second base. PARUSZEWSKI makes the play to first. Kingsway done here in the 4th inning, and the Dragons retire without scoring a run. They do get 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. 4 complete. The score: Woodstown 3, Kingsway 2. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision, channel 43. First pitch to KRISTEN MERKLE is swung on a miss for a strike. Woodstown up by the run, despite the 3 errors in the 1 inning, which led to 1 of the runs by Kingsway. Ground ball, high hop to third. Nice grab by Lindsay Hill. Quick throw to first base, and that's 1 out here in the 5th.
Nice job by Hill to cut that off. Hill, a big game player. She's one thing that McFadden said about her before the game is she's been able to step up in big games and make big plays.
Allison ARRIGO stands in. She struck out, grounded out, but drove in a run on that ground out. She's 0 for 2. This is that pitch for a strike. And we mentioned Miller seems to be getting into that groove. She is really hitting the corners now.
A nice job for her to take a little bit off of the 2 last pitches.
That misses up high for a ball. It's 1-1.
That's one thing Miller is a smart pitcher. She knows Arrigo's a very aggressive hitter. She's going to get her cuts up there.
Missing low for a ball, 2-1 to count. And Miller's one advantage when you have this time of year, a senior who's pitched in so many big games as a sophomore and a junior. Missing low, 3-1.
Surprisingly, Arrigo works the count to 3-1.
The first walk of the day, and it goes to Arrigo with 1 out here in the 5th. So she is on first base, and Bethany Mills will come to the plate. She is grounded out and reached on an error.
Arrigo has 2 steals on the year. I wouldn't be surprised to see her try and take off during this at bat. Test sophomores on behind the plate.
Hard ground ball over to third. Hill will make the play to second for 1, and that's all they'll get, but they get the lead runner, and that's 2 out here in the 5th. Nice job that time by Hill because she knew the ball was hit hard. She had time to get the force.
Hill making Couple of big plays.
Catcher Amanda Clark misses the first pitch for a strike. I guess the one disadvantage by getting the force is you can't intentionally walk Clark here. Missing outside for a ball as the throw goes down to first. Clark was unofficially intentionally walked in her last at bat. She has a single to walk, but they let her go to first. Off-speed pitch over for a strike, 1 and 2, and boy, would Amanda Clark like to have that one back as she smiles.
Woodstown fans really didn't like the call, but it snuck in there for a strike.
Nub down the right field side, that'll go foul out of play. Still 1 and 2 to Clark. Woodstown 3, Kingsway 2. We are in the top of the 5th.
Clark after this year is going to be going to the University of Maryland, the Baltimore campus.
Foul tip struck her out. Big strikeout for Miller to get out of trouble in the 5th. That is strikeout number 6 for her on the evening. No runs for Woodstown, no hits or errors. 1 left on. Bottom of the 5th, Woodstown holding on to a 3-2 lead.
One thing we've seen here is the pitchers are starting to settle down. You know, in a big game, I'm sure they still have some butterflies, even though they've been in these situations before in big games. They're going to have some butterflies in a game like this. I mean, this game means everything for Kingsway. If they lose this, basically they're done. They have 3 divisional losses, and just, I mean, they're not mathematically eliminated, but the way Woodstown's been playing, you don't expect a big drop off from them.
Yeah,
even though they have some big games coming up.
3 down with 4 to go. You had to believe Woodstown would put some distance enough for Kingsway tonight if they can hold on. And we talk about South Jersey softball getting into full swing. How about this? The top 4 teams in softball coming into this week: Camden Catholic, Cherokee, Shawnee, and Washington Township. Those are the 4 teams that are going to play in the finals of the prestigious Hamilton tournament this weekend. How about that for a couple of semifinal games and a championship?
And we were talking earlier before the telecast, what's the best conference? You have to look at that Olympic American and then the Trico Royal. Just 2 great divisions with teams that can just beat up on each other game after game.
And as we say, certainly, and as you pointed out, Sean, the numbers certainly make a big difference in that Olympic American. But the other big difference that works for both of these divisions is the feeder programs. When these kids get a chance to play in the Little Leagues and get so fundamentally sound, it makes the coach's job that much easier at this level. So here we go, bottom of the 5th for the Dragons. And Marcie Pence will lead off. She has struck out and reached base on an error and scored a run.
Now batting, number 25, Marcie Pence.
Well, the heart of the order again: Pence, Padgett, and Pettit. Say that 5 times fast, the middle of the order here. Over for a called strike.
See the darkness starting to fall here in the East Greenwich Little League complex.
Swung on and missed. And although it's still only the 5th, if you're Kingsway, you've got the heart of the order here. It's about time you better get cracking and try and get something going.
The way Clark settled in, they really should get something.
That is ripped foul as she got a pitch that looked like TARYN Clark took a little bit off of, and she pulled the foul. And Pence enjoying an outstanding year, as you mentioned, for Kingsway coming in. Batting at .404.
Big thing, it jumps out to the 5 doubles and 13 ribbies. She's really doing a nice job in that 3 position.
But she misses the off-speed pitch, didn't see the ball was dropped, and there's the throw down to first. Out number 1 here in the 5th.
Now batting, number 27, Lori Padgett.
And the batter now will be Lori Padgett. She's reached base twice on a single and an error. She's 1 out of 2.
Padgett's a strong hitter, a couple of home runs this year.
Grounded foul down the third base side as Sanders hustles over to pick it up.
10 extra base hits, doubles and triples.
Nice crowd on hand as you see tonight. Both teams getting a lot of support for this game. Fans knowing the importance of this one in the division race. This is outside for a ball. And as we mentioned, they're both going to be in the Group 2 playoffs. We'll see how the brackets go in a week when the playoff cutoff comes. They can meet again. That one popped high into the air in left center field, and the center fielder, KRISTEN MERKLE, makes the catch for out number 2.
Well, she can cover a lot of ground out there, KRISTEN MERKLE. And she's a big girl. She stands around 5'10" to 5'11". And she has great strides, gets great jumps on the ball. You're able to see it there. She just inhaled that fly ball.
SHONDALYN Pettit will step up. She has reached base on an error and singled. And that one is nubbed down the third base side. Was actually in the process of sacrificing when she reached base, but there was an overthrow by Wendy Miller. So Kingsway trailing by a run, had the bases empty with 2 out here in the 5th. That one ripped high into the air in left center field, and that'll drop in for extra bases. Pettit will take the turn and roll into second as she now slides in, although could have stood up. In any event, she has the double.
She just wanted to get dirty, go home. Say, look what I did, Mom.
Well, there's
nice hit.
The dirty uniform badge by Pettit.
And a nice stroke by her to get that into the gap.
So a chance now for Kingsway. 2 out, runner on second, and Wendy Miller, who has singled and lived on a fielder's choice, standing in. And as you see, does have an RBI on the day. 1 for 2 with an RBI and a single. That's over for a called strike.
She would like nothing more here to try to get that run in to tie this game up.
She has helped herself in the past, but this is a big batter here for TARYN Clark. Nubs slowly towards second. PARUSZEWSKI has to hurry to first, not in time. Here comes the runner, Pettit for home. She slips going home. Here's the throw back to third. She is out at third base. And that will do it for Kingsway in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left on, 5 complete. Woodstown 3, Kingsway 2. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision, Channel 43. Back underway here as we start the top of the 6th, and Samantha Sanders chops one foul. Woodstown leading by 1, trying to maintain their grip on first place rather in the Tri-County World. Of course, Pennsville a game behind, hot on their heels, as well as Kingsway. There's that semi-eephus pitch by Miller. It's a ball, 1-1. Missing for a ball, it's 2-1. Only 1 walk so far in the evening.
The one thing Miller has done now, she's gotten a little wild in these last couple innings, but only walking to 1, but Woodstown has been in the favorable position of hitting at 3-1, 3-2.
I want to correct myself. I actually said there was 1 walk. There were 2, although the one to Amanda Clark was a semi-intentional one, but she did have 1 walk last inning to ARRIGO, and that one is grounded back to Miller, who fields her position quite well, makes the play out number 1.
Nice job by Miller to get that leadoff runner on the last 3 innings, actually last 4 innings. She's allowed the leadoff runner to reach base. And
Now batting, number 23.
now with nobody on base, gives her a little bit more confidence going into the inning when you don't have a runner at first.
Here is TARYN Clark, 2 for 2 on the day with a couple of singles, and that one misses outside for a ball. Clark helping her own cause, able to not get a run in the 2nd inning. That's over for a called strike. We'll talk all about how well Wendy Miller has pitched, of course, but TARYN Clark, big game as she fouls one off, has more than held her own. And we talk about the experience of Miller in big games. Clark is pitching like she's been through it before.
Yeah, she's doing a really nice job. And, you know, as I said, they were able to go up against Gloucester Catholic. She matched Brianne Tobin and outperformed her. Woodstown was able to pick up the 2 wins against Catholic, so she knows what it's like to be in a big game situation.
Miller bouncing one up there to make the count 1-2 to TARYN Clark. Woodstown leading 3-2. We are in the top of the 6th. Just missing inside. It's 2-2. Well, plate umpires called a fine game today. Has been quite consistent behind the plate. Back to the screen. Said it was 2-2, and to correct myself, it is a full count.
Nice job by Clark to get a piece of that. Wendy Miller seems to be getting a little stronger as she goes.
Yeah, we've noticed that for the last couple innings. She's really settled down. Missing low, ball 4. So that is the 3rd walk now given up by Miller. 2nd in the last 2 innings. Clark takes first, 1 out, and PONOZZO will come to the plate 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout.
Clark has yet to steal a base this year, and I'd be very surprised trying to send that pitcher to second on the steal. You don't want her to get hurt, to injure her hand trying to slide in.
And now Andy McFadden with a disagreement with the umpire behind the plate, he is having a discussion. The one thing about Andy McFadden, he is certainly into the game. You go to a Kingsway game and he is involved, to say the least.
Admittedly, he's been noted as being a tough coach. He's very fiery. That's one thing that they had to work through the beginning of this year. You know, Kingsway, these players are very young players, and you know, they weren't expecting him to come out and get right in their faces doing game action. But that's one thing that he does. That's the way he coaches. He's very demanding. But he's got to be doing something right with 97 wins now.
No complaints with the results, and a couple of back-to-back state titles certainly go well on the resume, as that one on the ball is thrown back over to first base. 1-1 now the count.
This is his 5th year, and he has 97 wins. That's something you really don't see in high school sports, is somebody going for the 100th win in their 5th year.
That's over for a called strike. Great chance here for Woodstown to stretch their lead. 1 out, 1 on here in the 6th. They're up by 1. Swung on a miss. Good pitch by Miller as she gets the strikeout. Wendy Miller with that low pitch picking up the K. That is strikeout number 7 for the senior.
She's tough. Once she gets ahead of you, she's really not going to give you anything to look at.
Now batting number 18, Devon.
Here's Devon PARUSZEWSKI standing in, 1 for 2 with a single tonight. Browns run back towards shortstop. Jacobs throws to first. Close play, but she gets the out to end the inning. And Woodstown done here in the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on. Bottom of the 6th, Dragons running out of chances. They trail Woodstown 3-2.
And now they have Hill, Jacobs, and Heritage coming to the plate, the bottom of the order. If they can get something happen and turn that lineup over, that's something they're going to need to do here in the last 2 innings. Clark's done a really nice job of keeping Kingsway batters off balance a little bit, making big pitches and getting out of tough situations.
Well, this reminder, got a couple baseball games on your way on Comcast Cablevision Channel 43. Battle of the Trico Royal in baseball. We'll have Woodstown taking on Deptford at Deptford. Then a game that a lot of people have circled on their calendars in the Colonial Conference. Audubon taking on Gateway. Of course, Audubon having another great year, but Gateway, as excellent as they have been and as much talent as they had, a lot of people thought there'd be a little more significant drop-off with all the graduation losses. Not so at Gateway.
Nah, you know, they lose guys like Jim Bastine, who was an excellent hitter, a big power hitter. You know, they come back with Schwartz, who's doing an outstanding job this year. You know, Matt Bush is back there, and Scott Long. So this team is really reloaded. They still had some guys who had the experience. And, you know, once you win a state championship, you really know how to win. You know how to win those close ball games. That's something Kingsway's basically been able to do. This is a close ball game. This is one of those games where Kingsway's been successful in the last couple of years because of that championship experience.
And Gateway ranked 5th coming in this week in baseball. Audubon 10th. Certainly a marquee matchup. And, of course, the Diamond Classic cutoff is coming off this weekend, and we'll probably see, in fact, I would say it's a sure bet you'll see both of those teams. One is an at-large and one is a division leader competing in the Diamond.
We're talking about Andy McFadden, what he's done in these 5 years. And he was a baseball guy, played semi-pro. And athletic director Ron Lurch came to him and said, "How about coaching our softball team?" And he said, "Softball? What are you talking about?" Now he says he can't even watch a baseball game. Constantly going to softball games and seeing different things. He loves the game. He loves the speed of the game. There's nonstop action. We placed a good one around here. Randy Hepler, who was really a nice guy. You know, he said, "You got to bring somebody in. We have talent here. You got to bring somebody in who knows a little bit more about the game." And Randy Hepler now with the junior varsity team and getting these girls ready. So once Andy McFadden gets them, there's championship contenders. That's what they've been able to do the last 2 years.
Bottom of the order set to go here at Kingsway. Number 7 hitter Lindsay Hill looks at one low for a ball, 1-0. Hill is 0 for 2. She has grounded out twice. Fouls that one straight back to the screen. So 1-1 now the count to Lindsay Hill. She'll be followed by Taylor Jacobs and Becky Heritage. 3-2 Woodstown trying to hold on for what would be a huge win.
We heard Lindsay Hill grunting. She's a very aggressive hitter. She has 2 bad hamstrings and playing with pain.
Pops that one foul right behind us, out of play. So 1-2 now the count to Lindsay Hill.
If I were to lean back, I probably could have made that catch.
If I were to lean back, I probably would have fallen over my chair. There are one athlete sitting at this table, and it's not me. Grounded off the glove. That should be a tough play at first, and a beauty as they get the out at first base. What a fine play by Stephanie PONOZZO. Maybe the defensive play of the game.
Yeah, and then we're able to see what Stephanie PONOZZO has there at shortstop. She's a really good one. I mean, earlier she made a couple of mistakes. Got 2 errors in the 1 inning. That scored one of the Kingsway runs. There you see the talent that she has there at short. She's able to make the big play. And also, Bethany Mills, first stretching for that out.
Taylor Jacobs looks at one high for a ball. She's 0 for 2. It's grounded out and has popped up. TARYN Clark doing a masterful job on the mound so far tonight as that one is popped foul. That'll reach the bleachers. Sliding after it is Amanda Clark, but it goes out of play.
You see the hustle by Amanda Clark trying to go after that ball. She's just such a tough competitor. So now, McFadden telling Jacobs, why don't you try hitting this one straight? Straighten one of these out. Maybe you can get something going for us.
So now, 1 strike and 1 ball to Taylor Jacobs. Bounces up there. It is 2-1. Give me an idea how well Clark has pitched. We mentioned that strikeout-walk ratio coming in. 29 strikeouts, 5 walks coming into tonight. Tonight, 2 strikeouts, 0 walks. Got a 2-1 count now to Jacobs. Up high, 3-1 the count.
Clark laughing about that one. But maybe she had that.
That one ripped into right field, and that should drop in for a hit. We'll see if there's a play at first, but running through safely is Jacobs. As the right fielder, Monforto, made a throw, but it was late. So a single for Jacobs. She's a 1-out base runner.
And that's something Jacobs, very patient at the plate, working the count into her favor. Was able to stroke that ball into right field, get something going here for Kingsway. Becky Heritage, we'll see what she's been able to do, but that'll allow their lineup to turn over.
Becky Heritage trying to bunt the potential tying run over, fouls it away. Here's the other story of the night for Kingsway. Through 5 innings, they have left 7 on base, including 3 in the first. Heritage pulls back to swing but fouls it off. Not a bad try there by Coach McFadden when you have Sanders playing in so shallow, a good hitter in the 9-hole like Heritage.
Well, Heritage is coming in batting .298, but she has great speed. She's someone who can beat out a single. You know, look at something here. You know, Clark bobbles the ball, either Clark the pitcher or Clark the catcher. You might have yourself runners at first and second.
Just missed for a ball as we hear the groans from the Wolverine faithful.
And there you see the difference in softball players and baseball players. Clark comes back laughing.
Nubs slowly down the first base side. Mills will put the tag on for the out. And moving up to second base is Jurgen. So not officially a sacrifice, but she does get the runner over now with 2 out.
Yeah, she does a job, get the runner in scoring position with Jurgen coming up. 308 batting average. 8 RBIs coming in today, so she knows how to put the bat on the ball.
Well, this at-bat could go a long way in deciding the division title right here with Jurgen standing in. She is singled twice and grounded out, looks at one low, also has a run scored and a stolen base.
And you see just a sophomore, top of this Kingsway lineup with Doria and Jurgen. Will be back for the next couple of years.
Grounded slowly towards the left side, glove by Sanders, throw to first, got her for the out. And that retires the side for Kingsway here in the 6th. No runs in the inning, 1 hit. They leave 1 on. We move to the 7th. Woodstown leading Kingsway 3-2. You're watching high school softball on Comcast Cablevision, Channel 43. And we're back here as we have a pinch hitter for Woodstown to lead things off. And Christine Jessen has looked at 3 pitches. She has run the count to 2-1 as she took 1 called strike. Batting at 158, just 3 hits in 19 at-bats this season. She misses one for a second strike, and Laura Doria thought that was strike 3, threw down to third.
She's just trying to make sure her players are on their toes.
Sure. Jessen
Wake up the third baseman.
Jessen was not too pleased, but she strikes out for out number 1 here in the 7th, and that's just a nasty pitch by Miller.
Yeah, and Miller's really settled down here. And as we said, she gets stronger as the game goes on.
Well, here comes KRISTEN MERKLE. She is grounded out twice, has struck out, but on the strikeout, she reached first on a bad throw and wound up scoring. Lines one into center field, going back and over the head is PENTZ. Turning at first base is MERKLE. She'll head for second base. The throw comes into third, And she is in with a stand-up double with 1 out here in the 7th.
And she was able to get around on that pitch, drove it into center field. There you see, she's not your typical leadoff hitter. She does have some pop in her bat. Was able to drive that ball all the way back to the fence, and now you have runner at second for a little insurance run if you can get her across.
Allison ARRIGO standing in. She is struck out, grounded out to knock in a run, and walked, officially 0 for 2 with a ribby. Nub foul back behind the plate. And how huge would this insurance run be for the Wolverines?
Well, the way TARYN Clark's pitching, you're going to have Laura DORIA, MARCIE, PENTZ, and Laurie Padgett, the heart of the Kingsway lineup, coming up in the bottom of the 7th. So a run here would be very beneficial for Clark and this Woodstown team.
Fouled right back to the screen. So quickly 2 strikes to ARRIGO with Bethany Mills waiting on deck. Struck her out with that good low pitch. That's a pitch that's probably out of the strike zone, but so close and so unhittable. It's just such a tough pitch to lay off.
There's really nothing you can do. If you're able to get your bat on the ball, you're really just going to ground that into the dirt.
Bethany Mills stepping up. She is grounded out, lived on an error, and lived on a fielder's choice. Looks a 1 for a strike. So the runner at second base, MERKLE, now 2 outs in the inning. We're in the 7th, Woodstown leading Kingsway 3-2. Bounces up there and it goes underneath Doria, and running down to third and sliding in safely is MERKLE. You normally say why do that with 2 out, but she almost got the overthrow there going to third. Good alert base running.
Yeah, and KRISTEN MERKLE is very aggressive on the base pads, very aggressive player. Immediately took off at third, trying to make something happen for their team.
That one ripped into center field for a base hit. Coming in to score is MERKLE, holding it first with a huge RBI single as Mills. It's 4-2 Woodstown.
What you've seen from MERKLE and Mills, both of them taking out a pitch, seeing one that they can hit, getting a good look at it and driving it into the center field, producing a very important insurance run for the Wolverines.
And even with 2 outs, getting back to MERKLE's run to third, that ball was hit so hard, there's no guarantee she would have scored if she was coming from second.
You're exactly right. You know, that heads-up base running really produced an extra run for the Wolverines, because I don't know if she would have been able to be sent home on that play.
Here comes Clark. She has singled, been unofficially intentionally walked, and struck out. Outside for a ball, 1-0, and a great job by the Wolverines. Again, this team learning pressure situations for the first time this year, getting that big insurance run as that one's a strike. And this Woodstown team has played with a lot of poise tonight, with the exception of that 1 bad inning with the 3 errors. They have been as confident and as poised in a big game as anybody has against Kingsway.
And you know what? They came into the season with nothing to lose, and it just seems that's the way they're playing right now.
Low for a ball. And as we said, I think they expected to be in the race. I think some people thought they could be in the race, but I think they've already exceeded expectations, and they still have another month or so. Nub foul down that right field side.
I don't think they exceeded the expectation to the fans now. They're going to want to see a championship here now, the way this team is playing, the teams that they're beating. This would be a huge win if they're able to hold on to this victory, and already beaten Catholic twice. You have Pennsville coming in twice, and they still have to face this Kingsway team.
Grounded up the middle. This will be a tough play, and it rolls into center field for a hit. Holding smartly at second base is Mills. Clark has her second hit of the game. First and second, 2 out for the Wolverines.
Nice job by Clark to just fight that one off and get it over the head of Miller. Place runners at first and second.
So a great chance now for Samantha Sanders. She is sacrificed, struck out, and grounded back to Miller, 0 for 2. There you see Clark holding at first base. Grounded towards short. Jacobs makes the throw to first, and Kingsway out of further trouble here in the 7th. However, Woodstown does score a huge insurance run. They do so on 3 hits, no Kingsway errors, and 2 left on. Last chance for Kingsway, bottom of the 7th, Woodstown on top by a count of 4-2.
You got to be thrilled if you're the Wolverines coach. Gail Remster, you come into this game, Kingsway, they got the advantage of being home under the lights, and to be up 4-2 in the bottom half of the 7th inning, they're right where they want to be. TARYN Clark has really done a job working out of the innings, you know, getting in a little bit of trouble as the defense let her down a little bit, but they hold the 4-2 lead now with Doria, PENTZ, and PADGETTY coming up, batting 300, 404, and 49 coming into yesterday's game. She's going to have another tough inning. Well, you see Tony Barchuk.
Again, runners left on base have been a problem for the Dragons, 8 on the night. And they did get a run across in the first and a run in the third, but when they got that run across the first, they left the bases loaded, and that could be the difference here. But meanwhile, Woodstown now and TARYN Clark up for them to close the door here on Kingsway. And as we mentioned, coming in the division, coming into tonight, Woodstown still unbeaten at 9-0, Pennsville 8-1, Kingsway 6-2, and Gloucester Catholic 6-3. So a win here for Woodstown would not only keep them a hold of first place on their own, but also probably make it a 2-team race. And as we mentioned, these two teams still have at least one more game to play. That is scheduled for May 21st. Incidentally, that's the Monday after Kingsway's prom weekend as well, so a lot of the seniors will be away on that weekend coming into that Monday game. And as we said, depending on the brackets, both will be in the Group 2 playoffs. They could face each other again.
And you're exactly right. If Kingsway isn't able to win this game, Andy McFadden feels the Dragons are all but out of the race.
Well, here's Doria, 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. Looks in one for a ball, and let's see, even with this strong part of the lineup, if Kingsway might be looking until they get one.
Well, they're going to look to try to either get Doria or PENTZ on, because PADGETTY will be coming up. She already has two home runs on the year.
Ground ball knocked down nicely by Clark. That is out number 1. TARYN Clark, very cool on the mound, makes the play out number 1.
Well, and as TARYN Clark matured as a player, you know, last year she struggled a little bit. This year you can just see she exudes so much confidence, and not only her pitching but her fielding. And she seems to just be having a good time out there, trying to hit her locations and keep her team in ball games.
Marcie PENTZ hits a hard ground ball to PONOZZO at short, bobbles, throws to first, not in time, safe on the error. Not much of a bobble, and she may have been safe at first regardless, but still it scored an error.
You'd have to score that an error there by PONOZZO. PONOZZO is one of them players. She's going to make a couple errors. Very aggressive, will make the big plays. Looks like she might have put her hand on that play trying to stop the ball, but nice job nonetheless to keep it in front of her.
Lori Padgett looks at one low for a ball, 1-0. Padgett has singled, lived on an error, and flied out to center field. 4-2 Woodstown, bottom of the 7th, 1 out for Kingsway. Hard shot in the hole, knocked down into left field for a base hit. Holding at second base is PENTZ. Padgett the tying run at first, still 1 out. And SHONDALYN Pennant now will come to the plate with a chance to get Kingsway back into it.
Nice job there by Padgett, taking the pitches she likes and striking that in between short and the third. Now a double or triple can score the tying run.
Pennant's had a good day, 2 out of 3. As that one is low for a ball, but we get time called, so no pitch. She is 2 for 3, as you mentioned. She has singled, doubled, and reached on an error.
And she does have a little pop in her bat. She has a home run, 2 triples, and 3 doubles.
High pop-up, shallow center field. MERKLE looks it over, makes the catch, and Woodstown is 1 out away.
See MERKLE there loosening up that shoulder. 1 more out, and Woodstown will be walking out of here. With basically just looking at Pennsville as their only competition. They're coming from 8 and 16 overall last year to contending for a division title.
Well, here is Wendy Miller, 2 out of 3 with a couple of singles, has also reached base on a fielder's choice. Ground ball over to second base. PARUSZEWSKI to first, and Woodstown wins it. So the Wolverines win it by a score of 4-2. They seize command in the Tricolor Royal race. Kingsway suffers a loss to give them 3 in the division. We'll take a break and be back to wrap things up on Comcast Cablevision Channel 43. Ed Benkin here with Shawn Leary as we get set to wrap things up from East Greenwich Little League Complex. The final score, Woodstown 4, Kingsway 2. You see the totals right there. And Shawn, it's one thing for Woodstown to get another big win in the quest for the division title, but they did more than just to get a big win tonight. They beat the elite program, the two-time defending state champs, I think that means even more to this Woodstown squad.
Oh, sure. They came, as we said, and we keep going over this, you know, the 2 Catholic wins were big. But there you see a freshman, Brianne Tobin, you get a win against a freshman. You know, she's in a big game herself. She had to be a little nervous going to them games. Obviously, that's two big wins for them. But to beat a caliber team like Kingsway, who's a 2-time defending state champion, with the talent that they have on this team, is going to go a long way for this Woodstown team.
And obviously, if you're Kingsway, you lose this game, you have your 3rd loss in the division, you dropped to 10-6 overall, but there's still a lot for this Kingsway team to accomplish today. They obviously will be a threat once again in Group 2. They may not be able to win the division, but they will get Woodstown again to have some good competition to get them ready for the postseason.
And you're exactly right. You know, they play the type of schedule where they're playing Bishop Eustace, Cherokee, Lenape, you know, the tough schedule that they already have in the Royal. Yeah, okay, now they're not in the race really for the division. But what they need to do is regroup, say, okay, we've entered the postseason as a number 5 and a number 6 seed, and we're able to become state champions. That's their goal this now. They got to concentrate on getting this ship right, trying to make everything happen, get the team going in the right direction, and try to become a 3-time state champ.
Well, Woodstown with the victory now, 10-0 with 4 to play in the Trico Royal, 13-2 overall. Kingsway falls to 6-3 in the division and 10-6 overall. There are your totals once again. The final score: the Woodstown Wolverines 4. The Kingsway Dragons, too. I'd like to thank our director, Stan Ritter, and the entire crew here at Comcast Cablevision, Channel 43. Baseball coming your way next week. Woodstown, Deptford, and Audubon, and Gateway. For Shawn Leary, this is Ed Benkin saying so long from East Greenwich.